You know on the beat every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that. Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, still listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're after dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Thank you so much for tuning in. It is at @manhour_TWW. The Wyatt Williams here with you. I'm going to have Torry with me, of course. As you know, it is the Torry and Wyatt Takeover week. We've had an awesome week so far with you. We appreciate everybody for tuning in, as I mentioned earlier. Be sure to like and subscribe. Join the members only tab for $9.99 a month with some special fantasy football segments for $2.99 a month as well over there that me and Torry host. And without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Torry Anderson, the Wisconsinite himself. How is your day today, sir?
Today was my first day back. It was like a dreamland. 15 months away. I stepped into my office. I sat down and said, "This sucks. I want to go back to working from home, wearing my PJs. Still doing my job. Now look at me now. Like I gotta all look all professional like and stuff. Not that."
Did your boss today tell you well done?
I told him well done.
Nice.
It was
Did
kind
you know what you were talking about, or did he look at you funny?
He did not. And then I told him what was up with my summer reading, and right. He's like, "I might have to check that book out." So
awesome.
I may have turned my boss onto a new thing. It was just weird. It was a weird feeling, like going back into a place that you haven't stepped foot in 15 months. The first thing I did was just throw out all the candy in my candy drawer because it'd been sitting there for so long. I'm like, poor candy drawer. So it was nice. It was good to see a lot of my coworkers. Like some are still working from home, like it's staggered. So like I'm leaving, so it doesn't affect me. But like, so you have to come into the office at least 2 days a week. So you can work from home 3 days a week, can come in 2 days a week. And I think that's what they're doing right now. So it was good. Some coworkers are happy to see me. I have one coworker that was extremely unhappy to see me because she is really mad at me because I'm leaving. And that is the patriarch of our whole family over there. She is the madre, and she is not happy because she's big on like loyalty and stuff like that. I'm like, I've got 21 years in. I could not say no to the job offer. So I got my nose turned up at me by the madre, which is, almost as good as getting the kiss of death.
Right. Well, I caught something you said there, and I have to call you out on it. You said you threw all your candy away. Torry, I'm not stupid. I know you ate all the candy. All right. You can say it, okay? It doesn't matter that it was old candy. Candy is candy. You ate that candy.
Nope, I did not. I literally opened up my drawer and just chucked everything right in the trash. I'm like, well, because
was any of it like sticking to the drawer or anything?
A couple of them were, because for whatever reason, it's not even hot in my office, but there was some caramels and some butterscotches in there, like the little hard candies, and they were like stuck to the bottom. It's like, man, I'm like, whatever, I don't care. They're probably going to throw this thing out because.
All right, next question about the candy drawer. Go ahead.
So A, I'm leaving, so I have to clean it out anyways. B, our building's moving in September, so they would have to move. Everybody would have to throw everything out anyways. I'm just kind of getting a head start, so I actually started cleaning out my office and all that good stuff. So
the next question I have for you about the whole candy drawer situation is that you have a candy drawer. Like, is it just candy in that drawer? Is it a devout drawer for just candy, or is there like anything else in there, or is it just a full wooden drawer of candy?
No, it was a drawer mostly of candy, but then like my extra condiments and stuff if I would go out for lunch. Like I had zesty sauces in there from Burger King.
There's like
There
ketchup
was
packets
ketchup
and
mustard,
candy,
soy sauce, you
oh,
name it. Like,
I bet after a full year of being away, I bet that drawer smelled delightful.
well, it was all sealed, so it doesn't really matter. So like it was like
Soy
Taco
sauce,
Bell
candy.
packets. Ooh, yeah. So it was all sealed, so that stuff wasn't too bad. It was mostly the little hard candies in the little wrappers that apparently would just melt. So I'm like, it's not hot in there. I'm like, how did this all melt?
Absolutely. So our question of the day we're diving into here, and everybody listening right now, you can answer as well. We encourage it. So with the home run derby going on yesterday, of course, tonight we've got the All-Star game. My question to you and to everybody listening, to type your answer in the chat there. Would you rather win the home run derby, the NBA dunk contest, or one of the Pro Bowl skill drills? Now, I know that Combs himself was going to tune in here and say something about the sniper shot classic with the NHL or something. But, Torry, sir, which one would you rather win?
I don't know. You said NHL and we dropped viewers immediately. All you did was say NHL and it went
Gone.
Poof. They're like, I'm out. Peace out. I'm gone. For me personally, if they would bring it back, I would like to win the skills challenge. I would like to win the quarterback challenge.
Yeah.
In the NFL, because like for me, like that is fun. Like they've made it a lot better than even it used to be. Like it used to kind of be like a highlight thing of the Pro Bowl. We're like, oh, hit the moving targets, all the different stuff. And now they've got like, you got point values for all these different targets. It's like it's football top golf is basically what it is. So
pretty much
for me, I would say I would have win it'd be a skills competition that I would want to win, but it'd have to be the quarterback challenge.
All right, I respect that. I was going to go the same direction if I would have chose the skills drills for the Pro Bowl. I thought about the home run derby. Man, chicks dig the long ball, but at the same time, if I could soar through the air to the point to where I could win a dunk contest, I'll take that.
I believe I can fly.
Right. Dude, to win the dunk contest nowadays, I mean, you got to like jump off of your non-athletic foot from 2 feet in front of the free throw line, go between the legs, 360 and jam it. Like if you can't do that, you're not even going to make it past the first round of the dunk contest. So
I believe I can touch the sky.
We need like, as I'm explaining the dunk contest, we need that in the background singing it. It's awesome.
Demonetized.
Exactly. No, but I would definitely take the dunk contest. You kidding me? To get to soar through the air like that, just to dunk. I'll tell you what. Just if I could dunk, I would appreciate that. I can't even get rim. I can't. I can get about halfway up the net, but I can't dunk. It's like something I've always wanted to be able to do is dunk. Can't do it.
I used to. I in my day I could grab the rim. I could never dunk, but I could jump up and I could grab the rim. That was about it.
Yeah,
like that was as close to dunking as I got.
I'm getting close to grabbing the rim. I could jump
up, grab the rim, and use my other hand to do it. But
see, I always like the people that can't dunk, but they jump up and grab the rim and pull it down and let it go. That way it goes boom, makes a loud sound, right? And then everybody looks and they're like, "Oh my god, that guy can dunk!" Everybody always turns their head like that. But no, like I said, I would rather do that. But man, it's a tough decision though, because if you could win the home run derby, especially after the performance that Pete Alonso put up last night. Wow,
let's talk about the real
36.
Story. Mancini making the finals, recovering from cancer. I almost got my wish. It makes me wish close. I would have put money on him.
Absolutely. I mean, I was pulling for him. I know that many people in the world were pulling for him.
He was a plus 1,200 to win it.
Yeah.
A $10.
I was just happy that he at least made it to the finals.
$12,000.
Sure. I mean, I was just happy that he at least made it to the finals, man, because I was getting a little worried at first whenever he started out. He started off a little slow with his set, and then he just like right about in the middle, he caught his stride and just finished extremely well. And Mancini ended up doing really good even in the finals and in the semifinals, of course, because in the semifinals he won and had to get himself to the finals. But no, I thought nonetheless, I still thought that he did really good. I mean, it doesn't help that he went against Alonso, who had, 36 in the first round and, over 30 in every round after that, that normally doesn't, help you out at all. But, I also enjoyed the Ohtani and Soto battle at the very beginning. They went into like double, almost triple overtime for a home run derby, which I didn't even know they had overtimes for, but to my knowledge, they do. But yeah, I thought it was crazy. Would you rather win a home run derby or the NBA dunk contest? I'm just kind of feeling the waters here. What would be your second place option? I know that skills challenge would be one, but what would be second?
I think it'd have to be the home run derby.
Home run derby?
Yeah, just because I don't know. Baseball's it's really close between baseball and basketball for my second favorite sport. Overall, I would say college basketball is my second favorite sport, but I really like Major League Baseball over college baseball. So, like, there's a trade-off there. So I would have to go with baseball though. Yeah, just because I really enjoy baseball. I love the home run derby. Like, that is one of my favorite things to play on MLB The Show, because I always do the RTTS, the Road to the Show player. So I always so whatever position the Brewers are weakest at, that's usually my Road to the Show player I make. So, and then, I end up.
Okay. So so if let's say they're missing a shortstop, you make the Torry Anderson 99 overall shortstop that comes in and saves.
You can't make a 99 overall. You got to earn that to get up to that.
Oh, okay. That's a little more respectable.
Yeah, so I might end up in the minors. Like, I'll end up in the minors, and the one game, because I think the one game I made a pitcher too. No, I take it back. I made a first baseman because that was an area need for the Brewers, and I got traded while I was in the minors still.
Where'd you get traded to?
I was really upset. I think I got traded to the Rays. And then every time they would come up like, "Are you happy with your current club?" No, I'm not. And then I got traded to like St. Louis. And I'm like, no. And then I got traded to
even worse.
Then I got traded to like San Francisco because I kept complaining there. And then finally, I think by that time I hit like my Road to the Show. I'd hit like my 6 years and hit free agency, and the Brewers still needed a first baseman. So I signed with the Brewers for next to nothing.
Nice. Well, it all worked itself out. You ended up coming back around full circle and landed right where you want to. I mean, at least you had that.
After hitting like 700 career home runs in like 4 years.
Right. So you didn't make a 99 overall, but you put it on rookie mode and absolutely dominated to the point where you had to get to 99.
So that is one of the only games I cannot play except for on rookie mode. I cannot hit and I cannot pitch unless I play rookie mode on that. Like, the one thing that I did try, like when they entered like the true motion thing, like where you like swing with the analog stick and stuff like that, that was the worst thing ever, because I tried to play that like for a little bit and tried to learn it. That was awful. I mean, it was just not pretty.
Nobody will ever convince me of anything else. MLB The Show is the hardest sports game to anything, to learn the basics, to be okay at it, to be bad at it, to be good at it, to be great at it. It's hard. I mean, it is so hard. Where Madden's a little hard, but after a while you figure it out. You play it for
you learn what plays you can call. And like,
right,
you figure it out. You know what defenses to call, like whatever guy you like to like play with on defense, you figure out what defense works best for him, like to stuff the run and the pass. Like, there's always that one play that will cover both really well. And same thing on offense. Like, I remember like the 1 year it was like, if I wanted to run the ball, I would just call a counter play and flip the play depending on what side of the field I was on. Like, if I was on the left hash, I'd flip the plays so that I ran counter right, and I could bust it loose almost every single time.
And then same with 2K. 2K, they have the sliders to where you can put, even if you're so bad that on rookie mode you can't figure it out, you can go in and make your opponent worse through sliders and make you better. So, I mean, it literally gets to the point where you could put it to where you hit every shot and your opponent doesn't. So, like, you can find where that even balance is in 2K. Like, but in
2K though, you still have to hit your timing perfect though. That's the one thing that I will say is hard with 2K. That's the hardest one of all the games, is trying to find that timing in 2K, because even though it looks like you hit I think so, because even though it looks like you hit a perfect shot, it's like also clang. Like, it seems like the closer you get to the middle but are just off, the worse the shot misses. And, like, if you're a little bit further off, also it's like swish. I'm like, where does this come from and how does that work?
Have you ever seen the guys that play on PC? And on PC, you can set your shot time. So you can literally set it to where you have Steph Curry and you hit a perfect shot every single time.
Yeah.
There are guys who can do that. Now, once you do it for so long, the game catches you if you're playing online. Now, if you're not playing online, then it doesn't care and it doesn't catch you. But if you're playing online and you have it set like that, it'll like kick you off the game. Like, you could buy a $60 game and it will never let you play online again. It'll kick you off the servers and stuff. That's crazy to me. But
well, that's the one thing I didn't like with 21 was like there was some stuff that you had to do that you had to go to the playground and basically play like 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 or 3-on-3. And like I just basically had to find people that were worse than me, which is hard to do because I'm not good at that type. Like I don't like playing the games online. Like I just like to play sports games and play sports.
Right.
Games.
I just like to play the franchise modes, like my
and that's
league,
me too.
Franchise mode, all that stuff.
Yeah. So that's why like I've always enjoyed like the NCAA footballs. I love doing the dynasty mode where you're recruiting all the time. Yeah. And you're recruiting it all the time. You know, and you're building up that program. Like I would always find like the worst program. Like the one time I made like the Temple Owls like a national power and won like 7 national titles in a row. Like next thing you know, 7 years ago I could only get 1- and 2-star recruits. Now 7 years later, I'm pulling all 5-star guys.
I cannot wait to get that game back surfaced again and get to playing NCAA again. I cannot wait. It's going to be so exciting. But some other stuff that's going to be exciting is what's coming up here on Man Hour. We've got a ton more jam-packed action for you with all kinds of sports headlines coming up. Some really cool stuff. We'll get into that right after this break. And welcome back to Man Hour. As you see there, thanks for being here. Give us a hashtag Man Hour Nations in the comments right now. But we're gonna dump. Oh my lord, we're gonna dive deep.
We're gonna dumpster dive.
We're going to dumpster dive deep into some sports headlines here. And the first one, of course, yesterday, we spoke a little bit about it. But, of course, yesterday, the home run derby, Pete Alonso defends his title against Trey Mancini. Torry, I just wanted to get your reactions to the home run derby. Alonso, how great that he was, seemingly unstoppable, an unstoppable force the last 2 years in the home run derby. It's like I said, he did defend his title. So what were your thoughts?
He ruined my dreams.
He did.
He ruined my dreams because I said when we were kind of talking about it, I really wanted Trey to win it. At least Trey made the finals. Alonso should have took a dive. Should have let Trey win it just because that would have been an amazing story. But no, Pete's got to be like, I'm from New York. I got to win this. I'm going to show these bums how I am. Park my car in the yard. So no,
you wanted him to throw it. Do you think Mancini wanted that? Do you think No, he did not want him to dump. No, you cannot do that. That would be horrible.
No, personally, I wanted to take a dive.
Out after, huh?
I think he should have took a dive.
You think so?
But I'm kind of glad he didn't because I didn't put any money on Mancini. So if I would have,
that's true.
And he because it's like I said, he was a plus 1,200. Like so, $10.
Could you imagine if Mancini would have done it? And you called him winning it all, and you didn't put money on it. Could you imagine how mad you would be about that?
Oh, 100%.
That would have been hilarious. I mean, hilarious. But you know what? You already got your fix on betting for crazy stuff. Speaking of, whenever you called Nigeria beating Team USA drops 0-2 now.
I couldn't. I didn't call them to beat them. I called them to cover.
You called them to cover the spread. There. But of course, I don't. Did you call the Australia game too? Because Australia beat Team USA.
I did not call that. I did not see that one coming.
I didn't either. But now this arises. We talked about this a lot, even with Hoffy, and we all said, they haven't played together. They've got to get used to each other.
They're still missing 4 players.
They are, but at the same time, Damian Lillard and Kevin Durant, and I mean, there's talent, loaded talent.
I've never heard of those guys. Who are they?
Exactly right. Only 2 of the
scrubs,
2 top 5 basketball players in the nation playing together. There's no reason why they ever should lose.
They're playing on the same team. They sure as hell ain't playing together right now. Although
right, exactly,
in exhibition games.
So I gave you the question the other day whenever we talked about this with Nigeria. Are you worried about it? You said no. I got to propose the question again because I certainly am now. Are you seemingly worried about this now? Are you worried that Team USA is not going to be able to bring home the gold, I guess, put up the numbers that they should be putting up?
At this point, they're not even going to make the medal round.
Right, seriously.
Yeah, at this point now I would start to panic a little bit because excuse me. They aren't taking it seriously.
Don't go dying on me, Torry.
Right. No, that was just I got a couple of burps just all of a sudden they're like rrr, rrr. So I would be a little bit worried right now if I were them because now you're going to an exhibition game.
Joe Ingles is their best player. Precious Achumara, who I can't even pronounce his last name, was Nigeria's best player. 2 guys that are, one who is averages 4 points a game in the league
4.8
in Miami.
4.8 points.
Okay, here we go. 4.8 points for the
5.
Miami Heat. Right, for the Miami Heat. Then we've got Joe Ingles, and Joe Ingles is a bucket. I mean, I'll give him that. He's a good player, but Joe only averages 14, 15 points a game, if that.
Right.
I mean, there's no reason why a team led by 2 guys who are not even stars in the NBA should beat a team of all NBA stars. It's like, I don't even know what's happening.
That's what tells me that the team's not playing with heart. They're not taking it seriously.
Well, they don't care.
Right. But the thing is, that's how in the early 2000s, when USA basketball really took a nosedive and European teams started coming up and kicking our teeth in. And they were like, what? They shouldn't be doing this because nobody cared. The team did not start caring until Carmelo Anthony started getting fired up, till Kobe joined the team and was like, hell no. This is what we're going to do. And we're going to approach this like it is, And I hate to make this excuse now too, but part of it is too that, again, they had such a short offseason. A lot of these players went from one season, a month off, started a new season, into the playoffs, right into USA basketball. So that could potentially be part of it too, where there might be a fatigue factor. I don't want to make excuses for these guys because I don't care if you are fatigued. There's no way you should be losing 2 exhibition games. Not at all. To me, that just reeks more of you don't care, you don't have the heart, your head's not in it. You're just, I'm just here so I won't get fined type mentality.
Right. No, absolutely. You're 100% correct. And it's so stressful because it's not like they are losing to teams with exceptional talent or, that they're losing to teams that they should. It's genuinely just the sheer fact that it seems like they don't care. I mean, they're losing. They lost to Australia by, what was it? It was 93 to 86, I think, something like that. It was like 7 points.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even a tight game in the end. It wasn't like the Nigeria game where it was a 3-point game. This is like a 7-8 point game. This was decided for the last minute and a half. Like, it makes no sense how the best athletes in the world can't compete with athletes who aren't even the best in USA sports. It kills me. It does not make any sense to me at all.
Part of that is, though, that's where the rest of the world plays fundamental basketball when the NBA players go out and basically play a street ball game. The rules are entirely different when you get into the FIBA rules. So These athletes from these other countries have been playing by the FIBA rules. They know the rules. Like, all of a sudden, you take 3 steps in this, you're getting called for traveling.
No. Did you see? I don't remember who it was. It was a point guard, I think, for Australia. He's like one of the best FIBA players. He was explaining it to Zach LaVine, who was kind of asking about how traveling works and all that stuff. If you catch a ball in the NBA, you are immediately allowed to take 2 steps automatically. Then you can dribble. You could maybe get away with 3 sometimes, but you can absolutely take 2 no matter what. In FIBA basketball, you can't take 1. You have to dribble, then step. You cannot step once you catch a ball until you dribble. So if you're at a dead sprint,
which is the way the rule is written anyway.
Right. Well, if you're at a dead sprint and somebody throws you the ball, you have to catch and dribble before you take a step. I mean, it's crazy how they work this stuff out with the FIBA basketball, but it just doesn't make any sense to me that they're not in these games like this. But Drew brings this up here. He says, I don't know why everybody's surprised they are losing. All the other countries do one thing that we don't. They teach defense. And that's absolutely true. Kendrick Perkins, former NBA player, said it himself. They couldn't guard a parked car is what he said today on ESPN. And it's true. The defense has been horrific. The sheer fact that they're losing to these, I mean, I know I've said it 100 times. I don't mean to repeat myself over and over and over again, but it's so frustrating because there is zero reason why they should be losing these games. There's no reason. Like, I get it if you lose the first one to Nigeria. I've already moved on from that. It's your first game back. Most of these players just got out of their playoff games. They just played, multiple games. So sure, they're a little winded and it's an exhibition game. First time everybody's playing together. Sure, whatever, fine. If you lose that game to Nigeria, it happens. Fluke games happen. But now we lose to Australia. I mean, what's next? Are they going to make a medal game? I don't think so at this rate. At this rate that they're going, I don't know if they're even going to have a shot at a medal game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like I said, to me, it's a lack of heart and a lack of dedication, which shocks me because with Popovich as the coach, Pop is
right. You would think Coach Pop would rally. Exactly. You would think Coach Pop would rally this, but
right. And maybe they do. Maybe they're just like, screw it. We're just going to hold out and wait for Tokyo, and then we're just going to unleash on everybody. But why would you do that?
I don't know. But in more headlines here, we've got, this is a big one here, and I've got a lot of opinions on this, so bear with me. Ben Simmons trade talks. First off, I want to say I don't even know why the 76ers are trying to move Ben. I understand that he's had some questionable decision-making issues. I understand that he's not that great of a shooter. I get that. But all that has to rely around one thing, and it's confidence. Ben Simmons has no confidence whatsoever. The guy, It's pitiful. It's sad to watch him play. The guy will pass on open layups. The guy won't take a three. There could be a guy 10 feet away from him and he will not take a shot. He's lost all confidence because he continues to listen to the media and everything revolving around it. But here's my point why the 76ers should not be trying to trade him away. First off, they want a star back for him. They've already said that. And they're not going to get a star back for him because everybody thinks that he's trash right now. I personally don't. I find Ben Simmons very, let me see, I think I say this. I find him valuable. And the reason why, hear me out on this, the only thing Ben Simmons can't do is shoot. The guy plays stellar defense. He can guard all 5 positions. He can play all 5 positions. His playmaking is exceptional. He does a very good job of passing the ball. He works the play very well. He's good at the point. You can throw him anywhere in the lineup. The only thing the guy can't do is shoot. And he's lost all confidence. Those are the 2 issues. If they can find a way to work that out with Ben Simmons is still a top player in this league. I promise. Watch him play. He is not a bad basketball player. The guy has no confidence. And the guy cannot shoot. That is it. I'm telling you, if you watch the guy play, you'll see it. He's a good defender. And he can, like I said, he can defend anybody. He can defend point guards. He can defend guys the 2, the 3, the 4, and even the 5 if needed. And there's only 2 players in basketball right now that can do that. And their names are LeBron James and Ben Simmons. Those are the only 2 guys who are universally all 5 positions. They can play all 5 and they can defend all 5.
Wrong. You forgot Giannis in there.
And yes, exactly. Giannis. You were right. So there's 3 people, and possibly Kawhi, but that's neither here nor there. But anyways, yes, Giannis is in that group. But I find Ben Simmons very, very valuable because everybody has some kind of a fluke to their game. Everybody has something. I mean, nobody is a perfect basketball player. Nobody's a perfect anything. So
really? What was Kobe's weakness?
That's different.
What was MJ's weakness?
MJ's weakness was gambling and the fact that he couldn't get past anybody in the first round for the first part of his career.
No, that was because he had nobody around him, and he was
that was part of it, yes. But MJ's weakness was partially gambling, but there was some off the court stuff
that didn't
there.
affect it. No, that didn't affect his game. You were talking about their game. It didn't affect his game. But you said every player has a fluke.
Okay, outside of Kobe, LeBron, and MJ, every player in NBA history has some kind of a weakness to their game. That's what I'll say. Especially nowadays, especially with today's league, every player has some kind of a basketball disability. And Ben Simmons' basketball disability is he can't shoot, and he has zero confidence in himself. And it seems it's pitiful to watch. Like I said,
so let me pose this to you though.
Yeah.
Don't you think at this point, because he has a change of scenery would almost do him well?
Yes.
Because they trade him. It's a new start for him.
Sure.
I don't care as much as you don't want to be traded. Sometimes, it's a necessary thing because all of a sudden you start to play better. It's a different atmosphere. You have different coaches. You have a different perspective. They may see something else that, nobody else saw. And if you ask me personally, where he's probably going to end up if he is traded, I'm going to say the San Antonio Spurs. Because what better coach to prop him back up and rebuild him than Greg Popovich?
Yeah.
And on a team that doesn't really have a great star.
Well, and think about it too. If they gave up DeRozan, they're asking for a star back. Do you think the Spurs would possibly give up DeRozan to see him? I don't know who else on that roster that Philadelphia would want or need, because Philadelphia has a serious need at the 3 position, and Ben Simmons fills that at times when he's not playing point guard. So if they get rid of Ben Simmons, they won't have a 1 or a 3. So you've got to get a guy who's universal like that, who like DeMar DeRozan. DeMar can play the 1, 2, and 3. So he fills that hole. So do you think DeMar DeRozan would possibly be the flip on that?
I think so. But I think with his salary, there would have to be a salary filler player in there as well. Just because So I don't think Simmons is making anywhere near what DeRozan is right now.
Yeah, I don't think so. The biggest problem that I have with worrying about this is I think that yes, a change of scenery would be good, but I still think with that the stigma of he can't shoot, which is not a stigma, it's a real thing, and his confidence, I think that follows him. I think wherever he goes, he has got to find a way to find his confidence again, or Ben Simmons is going to be out of the league. Like, we're going to see the ending of Ben Simmons, and it's going to be because his teammates, and I think this also relies a little bit on his teammates, and I think it's the reason why he kind of needs a change of scenery, because, I mean, Joel Embiid is a great player, and he's a good teammate, but you don't really see Joel kind of hyping him up a little bit and keeping his chin up. You know, when you see several other players like Giannis, you know, you see Giannis in the huddle. Giannis is barking out commands. You know, he's telling, "Hey, Chris, you got to step up, dude. You're here for us." Same with Drew. You know, we all saw him do it. Joel is not really that guy. So I think you're right. I think Popovich can be that guy who's like, "Hey, look, you've got some confidence issues. Let's work on that together. Let's help me help you, and you can help me as well." Down the road. Now, also that poses some questions of who else would they bring in, because nothing against Ben Simmons, but once again, like we've said multiple times, he doesn't have a shot, so they won't really have a dynamic scorer at that point. I mean, he can drive to the basket, but that's also true too, is the guy is 6'10", and he is scared to drive to the basket and put up a shot. That's a serious problem. That is how we know that it's a confidence issue and it's a real thing. Drew brings up a
lot of guys. It's a lot of guys in the NBA today, though, too.
Oh, absolutely. Don't want to go to late
because they're afraid to get hit. I don't want to get smacked and get injured, you know, and stuff like that.
Right.
And that's why you've seen the rise of the 3-point shooter, because, you know, chicks dig the long ball. So
right.
It used to be in the 80s and the 90s, it was banging down low and I'm going to hammer it home right over your head. You know, it's just a different NBA today. It's more of a finesse game than a power game.
Yeah, absolutely. But Drew says this: Simmons needs a mentor like CP3. I genuinely, Drew, I couldn't agree more with you. I think that, honestly, I know they don't have the cap space, and I know they don't really have, well, they would have space for him. If Simmons would be willing to take a little bit of a pay cut, him to Phoenix, maybe?
No, not a chance.
You don't think so?
Not a chance. Just because
I think CP3 could help him, though.
He could, but one, salary-wise, it's not going to work.
Right. That's kind of where I'm
at. Because there again, like I said, CP3 is going to opt out of his contract. He's going to opt out of a $40 million next year contract in order for a little bit more long-term stability. And he's probably still going to get 25 to 30 million each of those years. He's looking for about a 2-year deal, and he will probably get a 2-year, $60 million deal. So he's going to give up 40 off the top to get 60 overall so that's just being smart, I think, on his part, because I mean, even in this finals, he's proven that he's not going anywhere. And that's where they're a little bit more cash strapped. There's not really a spot for him, because what the Suns are going to run into eventually is the spot that the Milwaukee Bucks are in. I'm paying all this money to CP3, to Devin Booker, and to DeAndre Ayton. And now I just got to fill my roster with
veteran minimums,
reserves. Yeah. Veteran minimums and rookies that I had to draft. You know, it's
I don't know though, man.
If you want to keep
the Suns look so good right now, and adding Ben Simmons to it though, if you feel that, if you had CP3 at the 1, of course, Devin Booker at the 2, Ben Simmons at the 3, and you had DeAndre Ayton with the way he's been playing at the 5, it doesn't matter, I think, at the 4 and beyond. If you fill that with veteran minimums, I think that's a championship caliber team right there.
It is a championship caliber. Yeah, obviously, because they're a championship caliber team this year.
Right.
So, you know, you're kind of stating the obvious on that one.
Sure, that's what I'm saying.
But it all depends. Unless Ben Simmons wants to go completely boogie and just basically say, I'll take $1.5 million a year to go play with a bunch of superstars, it's not going to happen.
I remember whenever Boogie did that to go play with Golden State, and
right,
gosh, that was crazy. That was wild.
Yeah.
He took it down to what? He got
$1.5
$10 million for
million.
1 year, I think it was.
I don't know. He got like $1.5 million because they were so close to the cap. Like,
Oh,
he
really?
basically signed for nothing.
For nothing. He wanted a ring and he didn't get it.
Yeah.
Still didn't get. Didn't he got hurt before he even took the floor there? Didn't he?
Yeah, and then he
Tore his Achilles, right?
Yeah, and then he signed with the Lakers and got hurt again.
Right. And then he tore his ACL on that one. That was a long story, but they ended up winning the championship without him because AD is a monster and filled that role for him. But still, yeah, I think they've got to find some way to make this work for both sides, because I don't think Ben can stay in Philadelphia anymore. I think that Philadelphia fans and the Philadelphia market, as for media, is so non-forgiving.
You made the exact point I was going to bring up, and that's where he needs a change of pace. He needs something a little bit more low key. He actually needs to go to a mid to small market, area. Honestly,
what about Portland?
Portland I think would be a great fit, and Portland could probably squeeze him in. But who are you going to give up?
CJ McCollum.
Yeah, but that's a star. Like, that's legit giving up a star for somebody that's borderline. So
I don't know. That's a tough one. You're not giving up Dame, that's for sure.
No, well, and that's the other thing. Are you really going to give up CJ McCollum, who is the Robin to the Batman of Dame, who's already potentially unhappy and might ask for a trade?
Dame's going to be there, though. That's what I'm saying, though. Right. I think right now, while they've got the chance, if they can make a move and get Ben there and get rid of somebody, maybe that might be a good thing here. But we got Drew saying no matter the pay scale, I think any player on the team would be happy to be champions and get that ring. And I think you're 100% right on that one too. Because winning
sometimes it doesn't work though.
Oh yeah, sure. There are times, man.
Look at Gary Payton and Karl Malone when they signed with the Lakers. Like, we're going to get us this ring with Kobe and Shaq, and they didn't win it.
Right. No, yeah. Hey, winning cures all, as they say, though. So it could definitely work, but also at the same time, there are times where duos don't work. And until Ben has got to take a lot of time this summer to find out who he is as a basketball player. He's got to take a lot of time this summer to figure out if he is a defender primarily, if he is a point guard primarily that play makes and does a really good job on the back end on defense, or if he's going to try and fill out that jump shot and maybe develop some kind of a 3-point shot, because you can always learn. You can always get better at something. We saw Giannis do it. Giannis had a horrible, and I mean horrible, mid-range and 3-point game, but he's improved it so much since day one in the league. It just takes time. It takes you got to devote a summer to you shooting the ball. Like, stop worrying about defense. Stop worrying about, how you pass the ball. He's already good enough at that. Worry about getting your confidence back. Worry about shooting the ball. That's what you need to worry about. And he said, what is another player like CP3 that can mentor? I think LeBron James would be a good mentor.
He's not going to LA. Again,
oh, no, I know. I'm just saying mentor. I'm just saying mentors. I'm trying to think other than, CP3 is like the ultimate mentor. So you can't really compare,
right? In
my opinion, that's a hard comparison. But yes, here we go. Drew also says Kobe thought Shaq was lazy. He did. That was a bitter duo.
That was just a case of alpha versus alpha, and
right?
Different styles of how they do things. Shaq.
The only reason why that stayed together was because they were winning championships. That's the only reason why Kobe and Shaq stayed together.
Shaq liked it light. He kept things loose. He liked to have fun. Kobe has that killer instinct and that mentality. They were naturally going to clash. Like, it worked. It worked because they made it work. And as soon as like they both got sick of each other, like as you saw, they weren't trading Kobe, so Shaq was shipped off to Miami. What did Shaq do immediately? Won a championship with Dwayne Wade. So,
right. So our final headline before we go to the break, as we got a comment coming in here from Corey Kinsley, says, "Go Bills."
I love it. Corey chimes in every single night, and all he says is "Go Bills."
Go. Hey, all that matters is he's commenting. Corey, we appreciate the interaction. If you want to comment more than "Go Bills," that would be awesome as well. We'd love to have conversations with everybody. This is the show where we talk with our audience as we go along. So you guys are just as involved in the show as we are, and we appreciate everybody for liking, subscribing, commenting.
And if you don't want to talk to us here, tweet at us.
Yep.
Follow us on Twitter.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I've got all of it. Find me on there. Shoot me a DM. I check my DMs regularly. I will get back with you on any of your sports-related questions. Or if you just want to talk about sports, or if you want to call one of my takes dumb, you can do that too. Well, people like to do that a lot. So, but our final sports headline before we go to the break, excuse me, is Stephen A. Smith had said some things about Ohtani and him having a interpreter. And he ended up coming out today and apologizing to Ohtani. And I kind of wanted to ask you, Torry, what was your reaction to the apology, to the situation, everything balled up into one?
First off, I'm shocked that Stephen A. Smith admitted that he was wrong about anything.
Right.
That's step number one. The first step or step number one to recovery is recognizing you have a problem. So I like it. I agree with it. I think he did it more to save his own skin, just because he's kind of a shock jock where he wants to say outlandish, outrageous things just to get a reaction out of people. It's kind of what he's known for. And I shouldn't say that because he'll have to say it like this. I have to yell it or it's not real. Like, that's his whole shtick. So I like it. I think it's somewhat sincere. He did it to save his own skin. But I do like it. At least he came out and apologized. Like I said,
right,
for something like with his personality and the way he is, for him to even say anything is the first miracle in the whole thing. I don't think he should have ever said it in the first place, anyways, right, because Ohtani right now is probably your face of Major League Baseball. Because guess what? Baseball's huge in Japan, and right there, that puts them square in the eye of a whole different crowd of people that are going to tune in to your Major League Baseball game. These are people that are going to take flights to Los Angeles from Japan to watch him play. And that's why you see a lot of these Japanese players play on the West Coast. That's why you see them go to Seattle. It's why you see them go to the Dodgers or to the Angels or maybe the Padres, because it's still close for them to get back to Japan. Hideki Matsui was a little bit different because he went to the Yankees. And so who's the pitcher? There was the Japanese pitcher that went and God, what was his name?
Shin-Soo Choo?
No, Harabu.
I don't remember. I know Shin-Soo Choo played for the Reds.
Yeah, and then he played for the Rangers.
Was awesome. But Ichiro was on the West Coast as well.
That's what I'm saying. Ichiro was there. And I think Shin-Soo Choo was actually from Taiwan. He wasn't Japanese.
Oh, okay.
I think he's Taiwanese.
Yeah, no, I like that he manned up and apologized. And the biggest thing that I do like that he said was, he started off, he was like, look, I understand I made a mistake, and I'm not going to have ESPN go out and apologize for me. I'm going to do it right here on camera. It's going to be a little thing. We're going to have a part of the show where I'm going to apologize. So listen up. And then ESPN took that clip. And if you go to ESPN.com right now, it's like the first clip on there. I mean, it's like the headliner of the day is him apologizing. So like you said, I do appreciate him manning up. And I do think part of it is saving his own skin. I mean, none of us are stupid. We understand that you got to protect your back sometimes on that. But I do appreciate, and I'm sure everybody appreciates him manning up and apologizing and saying what he said. But nonetheless, that is how we're going to end our first headline segment. We're going to go to a quick break real quick. We will be right back in 2 minutes with some more Man Hour action. And welcome back to Man Hour. As you see it there at Man Hour _ TWW, that is myself, the Wyatt Williams, and the Wisconsinite himself at Man Hour _ Torry. These are our Twitter handles. You can get a hold of us with any of your sports related questions or life questions, or if you just want to talk about food. I don't care. We can talk about food.
Right, I said it yesterday. I can offer really bad life advice to anybody.
I can't, and like I said, I can't really give life advice. I'm 4.
The pitcher for the Yankees was Hideki Irabu. That's who the guy was thinking of. I couldn't. I was close. I said Hirabu, and I'm like, wait a minute. And then we were on break. I'm like, no, it's Hideki Irabu.
Well, and speaking of not knowing players, we're gonna play our infamous game, Guess Who, which is where I come up with a player, and Torry, you're gonna try and guess it. Normally, we got 2 people trying to guess it back and forth, but since it's just me versus Torry will get 10 guesses or 10 questions, and then a final guess at the player at the very end. And that's how we do it. So, Torry, your first question, sir.
Do they play baseball?
No.
That's a dumb question. You don't know baseball, so I should have never asked it. Do they play basketball?
No.
Do they play in the AFC?
Yes.
Do they play in the AFC North or South?
No.
All right, so they're in the East or the West. Do they play in the AFC West?
No.
It's AFC East. Do they play offense?
Yes.
Is it Mac Jones?
No, it is not.
Is it Stephon Diggs?
No, it is not.
Do they play for the Jets or the Dolphins?
No.
All right, so I was on the right track.
Oh, here we go. Breaking news. Kawhi Leonard just underwent surgery to repair a partially torn ACL.
Which they kind of thought. They kind of figured that was coming.
Yeah.
Oh,
jeez.
Play offense, and they play for the Bills or the Patriots. Is it N'Keal Harry?
It is not N'Keal Harry. How many questions is that?
That was 10.
All right, so final guess.
Final guess.
If you get this, I'm going to be so mad.
Is it Jonnu Smith?
It is not. It is Cole Beasley. And the reason why I bring up Cole Beasley, of course, with all the issues with the COVID shot, he says he's not getting it. The Bills owner says anybody on the team that doesn't get it will not be playing. So that is all going to unfold here pretty soon once training camp and all that gets underway, because they've got to see if he's a part of the roster or if he's not. So nonetheless, we'll get our answer to that question next. But I win the first one, so I start off at 1-0. And Torry,
which is bogus because we've used that exact Cole Beasley thing before. Buck did it.
I know he did, but we're getting closer. It's more relevant now than when Buck said it, right? So your second player, sir. Go ahead with your questions.
Oh, we're not alternating here?
No. I came up with 5 players, and you guess at them. If you get them, you get the point. If you don't get them, I get the point.
Yeah, screw you, Trevor Bauer. You get no points.
The person was Trevor Bauer, seriously. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's not.
No.
That'd have been crazy, though.
I've done weird things like that. Do they play basketball?
No.
Do they play baseball?
Yes.
Do they play in the National League?
No.
It's an American League player. It better not be Ohtani. Is it Ohtani?
It's not Ohtani.
I just named all the baseball players in the National League. Or in the American League, excuse me. Do they play in the AL East?
Yes, they do.
Do they play for the Red Sox?
They do not.
Do they play for the Yankees?
They do not. That's what? That's 6,
Blue...
isn't it?
That's 6. Do they play for the Blue Jays?
They do not. 7.
So they play. Is it Trey Mancini?
That it is, and the reason why I bring up Trey Mancini, Torry, if you would have placed the bet, you would have came so close to winning it as last night. He loses barely on a last-second home run from Alonso to win the home run derby. Everybody was pulling for Mancini, but congratulations to Alonso on that one. But Trey, you get our second point, and so it's 1-1 now. So go ahead with your next question, sir.
Do they play basketball?
Yes.
Are they in the finals?
No, they are not.
Were they a playoff team excluding the playing games?
So are you saying did they play in the
Were they a 1 through 6 seed?
No.
Did they play in the play-in games?
Yes.
Did they play for the Jazz?
No.
Oh, wait, the Jazz didn't play in a play-in game. Ah!
Oh, man.
Burned
Wasted
myself.
a question.
Oh. Did they play for the Grizzlies?
No, they did not.
Did they play for the Lakers?
No, they did not.
So that's 6. Did they play for the Warriors?
Yes.
We're at 7. Is it Draymond?
It is not Draymond.
Is it Steph?
It is not Steph. That's 9. Final question, then your final guess.
Right? Is it, let's see, plays for the Warriors. It's not the only 2 players. I mean, if you went Clay, I swear to God, I'm coming down there and just punching you right in the throat. But I've got a couple of guys in mind, and I can't. It's got to be one of these 2 guys. It has to be. Is it Kelly Oubre Jr.?
It is not Kelly Oubre.
I want to say the other one, but I still actually have 2 more in my head.
Your final guess, sir. Vlad Guerrero Jr. just belted one into left. Out of here.
It's one of the 2 busts. Is it Andrew Wiggins?
It is not Andrew Wiggins. It's Klay Thompson. The reason why I say Klay Thompson, he will be coming back next year after the torn ACL. And he will reunite with the other Splash Bro in Steph Curry. I take the 2-1 lead. Do you want to end it here, or do you want to try and tie it? If you tie it, we have to go to 5.
I'm just gonna come down there and beat the living crap out of you is what I'm gonna do.
So with that being said,
so when you go to Full Sail University, you're only gonna be a half sail, buddy.
So with that being said, Half Sale University is where I'll be attending. We are going to jump to our next break. When we come back, we've got some more awesome, jam-packed man-hour action. 1 hour left. Be sure to remember at 9:45 Eastern Time, we have Shop Talk. Save all those sports-related questions. We will get to every one we can before we close it off. And then I'm going to mute Torry, and we'll end the show just like that, as always. So with that being said, we will see you back in 2 minutes. And welcome back to Man Hour. As you see it there at manhour_TWW, that's myself, the Wyatt Williams, and the Wisconsinite himself on the right there at manhour_Torry. Torry, this is your segment for the night, sir. All you, take it away.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kidding. So, it is time.
I'm kind of nervous here, man.
It is
I don't
time
like being on camera
for me to take over the Combs section of the show. And now we play the wonderful game of Would You Rather?
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna turn this into a singing segment.
Oh, hold on, I forgot. We've got our own graphic for this. I just royally screwed this up, guys. I apologize. Would you rather? You see it there.
Would you rather? Brought to you by
Man Hour.
Man Hour Nation. Brought to you by Man Hour. Man Hour. Would you rather? Would you rather Man Hour or would you rather Man Hour? Man Hour.
Man Hour for sure.
All right. So, Wyatt.
Yes.
Your question, or your first would you rather of the night.
Let's do it.
Would you rather get called up to the show and have a great month of baseball and fall off and never reach the show again? Or reach the show, have a 3 home run game, get sent down, and never see the show again?
If I have a 3 home run game, I think they're not going to send me down after that. But this is all hypothetical. I'd rather have a great month. I'd rather have a great month than just go crazy for a month, have the greatest month of my life. Yeah, and then get sent back down and never get to the show again. Yeah, I think so. I'd rather have a great month and then I'd rather have a great month than just a great game.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same boat with that one, because I'm like, more people are going to remember the 3 home run game, but I would rather have the personal memory of, man, I was in the show for a month and I played great, and it didn't last, but guess what, and that is kind of a tip of my cap right there. That question goes out to a lot of the major league players that don't get the credit they deserve, man. Like, people are like, oh yeah, well, you only played in the show for a month. Yeah, they still made the show. They are still light years ahead of any of us as an athlete or as a ball player. So right. I never have gotten that, where the trolls come out and be like, you sucked, you were garbage. You didn't even get there. How you can sit there and say to somebody else, you are garbage, when you couldn't even sniff his jock, I will never know. Like, I don't get that. Like, I get mad at players, and I'll be like, he's terrible, he sucks. I'm not going to go up to the guy and be like,
little jock sniffer.
Like Wyatt's going to walk up to Kevin King and be like, dude, I can outrun you. I can cover better than you.
No way.
Kevin, if you're listening, Wyatt said you suck.
You do suck, but you're better than me. I do know that. They're Kevin King, now.
He'd be like, yeah, it sucks as I walk to the bank to cash this check, which is more
exactly
than you'll make
right.
in 10 years.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
So, all right. So, yeah. So now, because I like food, because I'm fat. Wyatt likes food because I'm going to blame it on Nikki that she makes him go to eat all the time. That's what we're gonna blame this on. So, Wyatt, would you rather order a pizza and have them accidentally double all your favorite toppings onto the pizza, or go out to eat at your favorite fast food restaurant and get the meal comped?
Comped, like somebody pays for it for me?
Or they just say, oh, by the way, you get your meal for free.
I don't know. That's a good question right there. Okay.
I looked at that question. I'm like, God, I don't even know how to answer this one.
Right, because it's like, it's free food or it's double of your favorite food. Dang, I don't know. I think probably the free food, because if it's free food, well, hold on. If you think about it, though, it's basically the exact same, kind of,
but not really.
Exactly right. So I'll take double toppings then, because either way. So here's the deal: if I go to McDonald's and I get a cheeseburger, okay, and it's free, I can use that money to get another cheeseburger. So that's double. It's an accident double, right? With the pizza, it's double serving. So I'll take the pizza either way. I'm getting double.
I was gonna say, but what if you go to like McDonald's and you're like, man, I'm gonna see how many cheeseburgers can eat. You order 10 of them, and they give them to you for free.
It's true.
Are you gonna order 10 more and be like, oh, I got 20 burgers now?
No, I wouldn't. You bring up a good point, Torry. I'm changing my answer because of that. That was good. So there you go. We've got the would you rather answer change.
We have the Wyatt waffle right there, folks. Bam!
The waffle. If you see this emoji guy right here in the U, that is me. That is actually it's me.
It looks like Wyatt with a perm.
I'm just kidding. So your answer to it, sir.
Man, it's like I said, I made this question. Even I was like, God, even for kind of being like a fun one, I'm like, that is a tough one. Right. But I think I got to go with the pizza toppings. I have never in my life said, man, there is too much pepperoni on this pizza. Never. I never.
Nobody's ever said that. Nobody's ever said that.
And I know the dog's never said that, because she gets half my pepperoni usually. Like, I have to order double pepperoni on a pizza because the dog will just stand there and look at me. Like, are you going to share that with me? Can I have some pepperoni? I like pepperoni.
Every time that our dog stares at my dad while he's cooking, Dad always looks at it. Dad always looks at Buck and goes, "Hello, sir. I see you have bacon. I too like bacon."
Yep. I say, well, see, that's the thing. So this dog is so well trained to my food habits that she knows, like, if I make bacon and eggs, she will not move off the bed while I am cooking bacon and eggs. But she, for whatever kicks off in her head, or whatever sound happens, as soon as I put her fried egg into her bowl with the bacon that I just basically crumpled up and chopped up into there, as soon as I start chopping up the egg, so she doesn't try to swallow it whole because she likes to try to do that too.
Sure.
She will come. All of a sudden, she'll just come strutting out of the bedroom, poof, and sit down, look right at me like, "Is it ready?"
Just stare right at you.
Just stare at me like it literally knows right when it's done.
That's awesome. Hey, dogs are smart, man. That's why dogs are better than cats. But your next would you rather, sir?
So now this one. This is a little bit of football related one. Would you rather be drafted in the 7th round and have a 10-year like mediocre career? You're never really a superstar, but you stick in the league for 10 years. Or be a 1st-round pick that busts out of the league in 3 years.
So would I rather be a late rounder that stays in the league but really isn't anybody?
Yeah, you just basically make a career out of basically being like a special teamer and a backup.
Okay. Or a 1st rounder who ends up being a bust
And is out of the league in 3 years.
I don't know, because man, that's another really good one. That's another really good question. I think I would choose the late rounder that ends up being a nobody and plays in the league for a while, because that is passive income. I'm just kidding. Everybody knows that trend right now. But I'll be in the league for longer. I can say, I was a 10-year vet in the league. I'd get paid for longer. Honestly, I think it just depends on which one would pay more. Like if my rookie deal, because I was a 1st overall pick that was a bust, was $27 million, and over my career, and the other scenario, if I only make $5 million, I don't know. I think I'd take the money on that one. That's a really tough one. I think I'd rather play in the league for 10 years. Putting money aside, I think I'd rather play in the league for and be a 10-year vet that was a backup and a special teamer, and say that I played in the league for 10 years. That'd be pretty cool.
I think I would have to agree with you. One, just because I'm already old and this is stuff I have to think about, because you have to be in the league, I think, a minimum of 4 years to be put into the retirement. So then once you're in the league, you are become a vested player. It's either 4 or 5 years you have to be in the league. And to become a fully vested player, and that, like, for me, I'm like, that gets me into the retirement plan. So yeah, absolutely. Give me that.
I didn't even know the NFL had a retirement plan. The NFL will pay you after you've retired?
Yeah. You have a retirement plan. Like, you become vested.
I had no clue. I thought just because they were pro athletes and they made so much that there wasn't a retirement plan. That is crazy, and that is all news to me. So that's how Brian Urlacher paid for his hair. It all makes sense now.
Drew says late rounder has been a chance to beat in. Yeah, I had almost done
exactly
ESPN.
Who that's aimed at. He is talking about Dan Orlovsky right now. I can guarantee you that one.
That our coach. No. Some of those late round guys are good coaches. Jimmy Leonard for the Wisconsin Badgers, the defensive coordinator. The big draw for him is that he played in the league for 10 years, and the fact that he's actually an amazing defensive coordinator.
Sure. Well, most of these guys who don't last very long are also the guys who are super smart when it comes to the game. So they, deserve that shot at being a coach. They know a lot about the game. But your next would you rather, sir?
So we're going to time travel. We're time traveling here.
Is that what sound time traveling makes? I
know that was like my really bad Doctor Who imitation. So, would you rather be a 3-point specialist in the NBA in the 80s? In the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Or would you rather be an 80s down low banging center in the NBA today?
Like an 80s center today?
Yeah, so like a Patrick Ewing in today's NBA.
I'll take an 80s center today. It would dominate. That'd be like Shaq all over again. Are you kidding me? That's easy on that one. I would dunk on Joel Embiid and talk trash the whole way down the court. I mean, Jokic wouldn't be able to guard me. None of those guys. I would take an 80s center in today's league. I would totally do that. I would dominate. Huh?
I don't know what I would do, just because the centers of that time in the league today would get circles ran around them. because they would just run right by them. Because a lot of them were slower, big guys.
Oh,
that
yeah.
just all they did was bang down low, and that was it.
Yeah,
Like,
but that was kind of what Shaq was. Shaq got outran 24/7.
Right.
But the fact that Big Diesel was 7'1" and almost 300 pounds, the guy could grab a rebound from out of your hands and then just, dunk it right in your face. I mean, it's crazy. The guy was a freak.
I'm thinking I'd have to agree with you, just because three you were considered a 3-point specialist in the league in the 80s, in the 90s, because it wasn't that consistent of a shot. So Steph's
Danny Green would have been considered in that age. Today's Danny Green would have been considered a 3-point specialist back then.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So would Steph, though. Steph would not be a superstar. He would have been a guy coming off the bench.
He'd have been like a Steve Kerr.
Yep.
He'd have been like his coach.
And he would have. That's all he would have been. You'd have been like, yeah, he's all right. He can shoot a 3, but he can't do much else.
Right.
And in this league,
crazy how
that era,
in just 20 short years, it's really not that long, how much that the league has evolutionized. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but it happens.
Moved on.
But I will say the NBA is probably one of the fastest evolving sports of all of them, because the game changes so quickly.
Yeah,
there
because
the 60s, 70s,
it changes,
80s, 90s, 2000s.
Yeah. Because it changes itself to mold around its star player. Back in the 80s, everybody was molding around Magic and Bird. In the 90s, they were molding around MJ and the Bulls, trying to. In the 2000s, they were trying to mold around Kobe and then and LeBron, and then in the 2010s, they tried to mold around LeBron and Curry. So I mean, it molds around its star players. That's why it's always so ever changing, because basically one team is always really good, or 2 or 3 teams are always really good. And then everybody else molds themselves to try and be that team, or they mold themselves to try and beat that team.
Right.
That's how the NBA is.
I do wish that the NBA would come up with a hard cap. I get it. They have the luxury tax and all that stuff. I think they just need to make it fair, for everybody, because there's teams that don't care if they go into the luxury tax. Where there's other teams that are like, man, if we do that, we're going to bankrupt our franchise.
Right. So the difference between the Lakers and the Trailblazers.
Right. Or even the Bucks. Everybody's the Bucks are going to have to go into the luxury tax. And the Bucks are we're not going into the luxury tax. And that was when the debate was, do you let Middleton walk or do you re-sign Malcolm Brogdon? And they were myrtleized for trading Brogdon and keeping Middleton. And what has Middleton done since he's been a 2-time All-Star? I think they made the right choice.
Oh, absolutely. And they got Drew Holiday to fill that role. I mean, Brogdon's a good player, but Drew Holiday is essentially, if not better, the exact same, in my opinion. I think they're very similar players, the way that their play style is.
I don't think Drew's ever been a 50, 40, 90 guy, though. And Brogdon has twice now.
That is true. But I don't think that Brogdon's a good playmaker, but I think that Drew has a little bit of a better shooting side to him from 3-point land. I think
Drew's a way better defender than Brogdon was.
And then that as well, too. Yeah, his perimeter defending is much better. And then, so your final would you rather of the night, sir?
So my final would you rather is kind of aimed a little bit towards BC here. Would you rather watch the NHL or gouge your eyes out?
I'm just kidding. No. I gouge my eyes out. No, just kidding. What would you do, Torry?
I would probably watch the NHL just because I'm a diehard Blackhawks fan. But literally, I know nothing about any other NHL team. I couldn't tell you squat except for maybe Alex Ovechkin plays for the Capitals and
right. The star player Connor McDavid. Patrick Kane plays for the Blackhawks.
Stamkos plays for the Lightning. I could name star players. Outside of that, I could not tell you nothing. Duncan Keith, longtime Blackhawk.
Who does Sidney Crosby play for?
Pittsburgh. That one I know. He's a star player.
All right, he's a legend. I'll probably say he's
He's
like
not a
top
legend.
5
He's
in GOATs.
No, he's not.
Yes, he
out
is.
How many cups does he have? 1. He has
Matter.
1.
He is just incredible player.
Even you're gonna put him up there. You're gonna put him up there with Mario Lemieux, Jaromir Jagr, who are
Gretzky,
who are ironically from that same organization. Are both better players, great in the great scheme of things than he was.
I'm not saying he's the best. I'm saying he's top.
You just
top
said he's
5.
top 5 all time.
Yeah.
You're on crack.
Oh, he's
you
top 5
crack
for sure.
Who else do you got? Who else do you got in your top 5?
I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, I know Gretzky's up there.
Yeah. Can you name 5 NHL players?
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I could.
So it's like I said, I don't. It's like I don't go out of my way to watch the NHL. I don't think anybody from America goes out of their way to watch the NHL. It's like NASCAR.
I watch the playoffs.
Nobody really admits they watch it.
Yeah, I watch the playoffs and I watch the Stanley Cup, but like I'll maybe catch 2 or 3 regular season games as the year goes on for the NHL. But other than that, I follow it, but not crazy follow it. I follow it as just like a sports fan.
Yep.
Like the fact that I have ESPN on my phone is what follows it for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got a favorite team in the Blackhawks.
Yep. My favorite team on CBS Sports is like, Blackhawks. So it updates me on Blackhawks stuff. Right. So it's like I said, I do follow like a lot of the players just because I went a lot of years as a Blackhawks fan where we didn't win Stanley Cups or actually were even good.
Well, that was our Would You Rather segment there. Torry hosted it. You did a great job, sir. Appreciate all your hard work on that one. And we are going to head to break. When we come back, we are about 15-ish minutes away when we come back, 20 minutes from Shop Talk. So like I said, be sure to save all those sports-related questions. Give them to us there at the very end. We will answer every single one that we can get to. And like I said, I'm going to mute Torry. It's going to be hilarious. Everybody knows it. And with that being said, we're going to go to break.
manhourradio.com.
And welcome back to Man Hour. It is at _Man Hour. Excuse me. At Man Hour _TWW. The Wyatt Williams. That is myself. There to my right, you see him. That is at Man Hour _Torry, the Wisconsinite. And we have got some more jam-packed action coming up for you. We've got about 20 minutes till Shop Talk, where you can ask all of your sports-related questions. We will answer every single one. But nonetheless, we're going to get into some more headlines here. And the biggest one that I was really excited to talk about with you today, Torry, and this could take up our entire headline segment because, you know, we're going to have a lot of opinions about this, is the Rockets are actively right now, the words were used in the report was aggressively trying to get a hold of Cade Cunningham and that #1 overall pick is what the Rockets are doing. I think there is no way on God's green earth that they come up with that number 1 overall pick. There's no way Detroit moves it. There's no way Detroit does that unless if the Rockets give up like something irresistible, but the Rockets don't have anything irresistible. What are they going to give up? Kelly Olynyk?
They could give up James Hart. Russell.
Yeah.
Chris
Paul. Victor Aldo.
They can trade
Clint Capel.
No, yeah.
No, they've got nobody. What are they going to give up? Who in the Rockets organization right now is
literally they could
Cunningham?
trade. The only person that they got of any worth is Christian Wood.
But Christian Wood is not going to get you a 6'10" guard who is going to be one of the best perimeter defenders in the league in 3 or 4 short years, and a guy who is a absolute bucket. I mean, he's incredible. And his shooting, his playmaking is crazy too. But the biggest thing that everybody is attracted to is he's 6'10" and a point guard, and plays stellar defense. He can defend, the 1, 2, and 3. Where he can defend the 5 or the 4 or the 5. I don't think he will be able to. But still, universally, he can defend the 1, 2, or 3, and that's huge. That is huge. His perimeter defense is awesome. Once you get inside, his defense is awesome. His paint defense is unstoppable. And the guy can go to the other end, hit a big basket. He can dish very well. His playmaking is exceptional. I mean, everything we saw from him at Oklahoma State this year was crazy. The guy is just unreal with the way that he plays basketball. He was undoubtedly the best player in college basketball this year. It was incredible to get to watch him. So my question to you is there any way that the Houston Rockets are able to come up with this number 1 overall pick? And if so, how?
Extreme luck. Like, there's literally no way. They do not have the assets. They do not have the players. They do not have anything to give up for a Cade Cunningham. It's like I said, this is a completely rebuilding franchise. I believe they've already traded a couple of first-round picks around anyways. And I don't even know what they have for first-round picks. They have they have the 3rd pick in this draft?
Yes, the 3rd or 2nd, something like that. I'll look it up right now. But regardless, the only thing that I can think of that maybe is
they have the second.
They're going to have to give up. Pick. They have the 2nd pick. Okay, that's what I was looking at here. They've got the 2nd pick. I don't see.
They have the 2nd pick.
Else.
They have the 23rd, the 24th.
If they gave up the 2nd, 23rd, 24th, next year's 1st, and the year after that's 1st.
But I think they traded one of those other firsts either next year or the year after.
See, that's what I'm saying. They don't. There's no way they have the assets to make this work because they already gave up their 1st overall. They already gave up the 1st overall pick in the 2nd round to Milwaukee. Milwaukee's got that from Houston. I mean, like I said, the only way they're going to be able to make this work is if they give up. I think Christian Wood will have to be involved because
which would make no sense because he was with Detroit. And left as a free agent because they weren't going to pay him. So now you're going to tell me all of a sudden they're going to pay him and take on his contract. So
I don't know though. Now that Blake Griffin's gone, they're in dire need of a power forward. I mean, Christian Wood can maybe fill that for a season or two. I mean, he's getting kind of older now. He's getting up there in the age.
He's 25. He's just entering his prime. Yeah.
Well, I'm asleep at the wheel on that one. I thought he was just hitting 30. I apologize on that one, but still nonetheless, there's no way that they're going to be able to make those moves. There's no way they're going to be able to get Wood.
No.
To go back. Wood's not going to want to go back. Wood's going to say, if you trade me there, I'm not playing. I'm sitting out and I'm going to go elsewhere at the end of the contract. They're going to have to move me. So you can already pretty much take Wood out of the contract, out of the trade. Then when you look at it, they're going to have to give up their 3 first-round picks for this year. They're going to have to give up 1 for next year and 1 the year after. That's 5 first-round picks for the 1st overall pick. At that rate, you might as well just take Suggs with that 2nd overall pick, who's a guy who has potential to be good too. I mean,
I agree.
I don't think it's worth it. There's no way that can be worth it.
I like Cade Cunningham, but I know you think differently. But he does not strike me as a generational talent. He does not strike me as somebody that you are going to give up the world to get. He's not a LeBron James. He is not,
Sure.
he is, he's not going to be that guy. What I picture Cade Cunningham as is Glenn Robinson with a better defense.
I think it's
I'm
more
talking about big dog Glenn Robinson that went to Purdue, not his
I
kid
think it's
that
like
played in the league.
I think it's like a 6'10" Russell Westbrook with a jumper and a decent three ball. That's kind of how I see him. He's a slasher. He takes to the basket. He can pass extremely well.
But the thing is I would put Russ in the Hall of Fame conversation because the man's averaged a triple double 3 times now in his career.
I think Russ is a Hall of Famer as well.
I don't think Cade's got quite a Hall of Famer. I think he has some all-stars in him, but I don't think he's all a Hall of Famer.
I don't know. I got to see what he does. I think it all depends on how he does in Detroit. And honestly, I think it has to do with how long he stays in Detroit. I mean, if the guy spends his career in Detroit, a dysfunctional organization since the early 2000s, he's not going to do much. I mean, they haven't been a relevant franchise for almost 20 years now. It's been a while. I mean, the last time they were genuinely relevant was whenever they had the second version of the bad boy Detroit Pistons in the early 2000s. That's really it. Like the Malice at the Palace was like kind of the last stab at it.
They won the title in 2008. So they won a title 12 years ago.
So still, they haven't been relevant since then.
I agree. Like they had 1 or 2 good years after that. And then after that, they just kind of, again, attrition takes over, salary cap takes over at that point. You start losing people.
Well, and nobody wants to be there. I mean, Blake Griffin, who is arguably one of the most loyal players in the NBA, didn't want to be there. I mean, he stayed with the Clippers for a long time. I didn't think he was ever going to leave the Clippers, and he leaves the Clippers. There was some salary cap stuff going on with that. There was also some issues with they had got rid of Chris Paul, and DJ was gone as well. So there was some other stuff going around circulating with that. But he went there, and he was there for 2 seasons, and was like, "Hey, I'm getting the heck out of here." Mid-season, he announces on Twitter, he's like, "Yeah, I want to go to Brooklyn." Brooklyn trades for him. It's like nobody wants to be there.
But at that point, there again, you got to look at it from his perspective. He's an older player now. He's headed towards the twilight of his career. He wanted to go to a winner. He wanted to go somewhere he had a chance to win a ring. And a lot of players do that. Paul Gasol is a walking, talking example of that type of player. I just want to go somewhere to win a ring, 2 years ago when the Bucks were like everybody was picking them to win it, he signed with the Bucks as a buyout free agent and basically just sat on the bench. Like, I just want to win a ring. Like, it happens to a lot of players. As good as they are, eventually those skills decline and they just say, screw it, I'm just going to go chase a ring.
Right. And that's the thing.
Unless your name's Big Shot Bob, and then you just go to a team and you automatically win a ring.
Right. But I don't know what is going to go on there with this situation. And I don't know why Houston even has interest in it, because Detroit's already said, hey, we're not moving this pick. And Cade Cunningham has already said, I'm only taking one visit, and that is to Detroit. So I don't know what the Rockets are really looking to accomplish right now with this, because both sides seemingly have already, tied the knot. This is basically like it's not, but it kind of is. It's basically like an ex-boyfriend that like shows up on the wedding day like, hey, we ain't over. No, you are over. Like, we just paid $30,000 for this wedding, this beautiful venue, and the party after and stuff. No, like, it's not going to work. That's just how it is. There's no way that Detroit, and if Detroit does, they're stupid. They're horribly stupid if they move this, because Cade Cunningham is going to be a great player. In my opinion, I think he's going to be a great player. And on top of all that, who else? I mean, Jalen Suggs is all right. And, Mobley is all right. But who else other than Cunningham has real Hall of Famer or superstar potential in this draft?
Green.
Nobody has that.
Green.
I mean, he has a decent shot at it, but he doesn't have, like, what we've seen in the last several drafts with like Zion or RJ Barrett coming into the league or Ja Morant. Like nobody in this draft possesses those qualities that we've seen in the last several drafts. We've been spoiled with the last couple of drafts with great players. I mean, Luka Garza literally had arguably what could be one of the greatest college basketball careers that didn't win a ring, and he possibly won't even go in the first round. I mean, there's just the talent in this draft just isn't. It's odd. It isn't really there. I just don't see it.
That's just because, as much as I hate to say this, and this hurts to say, it's because the NBA learned that the last big man from the Big Ten to win Player of the Year didn't pan out so well in the NBA.
Who? What? Kaminsky or Odin?
Kaminsky.
Kaminsky. Hey, hold on now. Kaminsky is in the finals. I don't know about all that panning out. All right.
All right. So, like we had talked about, all right, Facebook users, YouTube users, this question's for you. Who has scored more points in the NBA Finals? Frank Kaminsky or Steve Nash? The answer is Frank Kaminsky.
Frank the Tank.
Who scored more points in the finals? Frank Kaminsky or Chris Webber? Ding, ding, ding. Frank Kaminsky. He's a beast. He is a beast. So Facebook user said Nash. Steve Nash. Hard to believe this. Steve Nash never played in an NBA Finals.
It's crazy.
Never.
Is Steve Nash the greatest white boy of all time in the NBA?
No. That's
Larry Bird, right? Larry Legend. Let's go. The hick from French Lick. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Larry's going to own that title for a while. So
I've got to. I don't know, man. Luka might be coming for it. I'm not 100% sure yet, though.
He's got a shot. He
does have a shot. He really does. But I've got to see. Yeah, I live like 45 minutes from where Larry is from, French Lick, Indiana, and like the West Baden area with the big casino and everything there. And I can tell you that Springs Valley High School, where he went, like, I don't know how they haven't named it Larry Bird High School yet, because when you walk in there, it is Larry Bird everywhere. When you turn, there's Larry.
They probably named the gym after him.
Oh, they've named the gym, the court, I can't believe. Like I said, I can't believe they named the town. They're going to name the town after the guy. But when he dies, it's not going to be Springs Valley High School. It's going to be Larry Bird High School. They're going to call it Bird High School or something. And then the town is not going to be French Lick anymore. It's going to be Larry. It's going to be Bird or something. Bird Town. I don't know.
This town Licks.
Huh?
I said they're going to change it to this town Licks.
Larry Legend Licks. That's what it is. Larry Legend Lick. It's not going to be French Lick. It's going to be Larry Legend Lick. I mean, that town is so crazy about him, but he also returned to the town. He still lives. He lives in French Lick now. I'm not sure where. There's somewhere in the town somewhere.
I guarantee it's probably the biggest house in French Lick.
I could almost guarantee that too. But I think it's like his house is like gated off, which I understand because you're Larry Bird. You don't want people just walking up to your house. But I'm telling you, man, Springs Valley, it is painted with Larry Bird all over the place. Every time you turn, you see those tiny little shorts that his balls are ready to fall out the side of, and you see the weird-looking mustache. I mean, it's kind of awesome. Have you ever seen the picture of him? And he's outside of the Celtics arena, and he's in his truck, and he's got one arm on the door, hanging out, and he's smiling. He's got the big mustache. Have you ever seen that picture of him?
No, I don't Google Larry Bird randomly.
Oh, no, the reason why I say that is because there's a meme floating around that's been floating around for years, actually. And it's that picture, and it says, imagine pulling up to Boston as an NBA player just for this man to 35-piece you on a primetime night. It's so funny. But definitely, that guy has got to be the greatest guy of all time.
Do you believe in Jesus? Because this guy does. Indiana.
Do you believe in Jesus? This guy is the second coming. this guy is the basketball version of Jesus. That's the way they treat it. That's the way they preach of him in French Lick. But nonetheless,
hashtag Christians for 3.
Right. Back to the point here. I don't see the assets. Like you said, I agree with you 100%. I don't see the players 100%. And I don't see any interest at all from Detroit to make this move. I don't see any point in them reaching out to attempt to, make something of this because there's no point.
Right.
I mean, what
this is only
what
I
in
think this is only the second time I think in Detroit's history that they've ever had the number 1 overall pick.
right, in the whole city, they're already selling Cade Cunningham jerseys in the pro shops there. Like, it's a done deal. Like, everybody knows it. I mean, you can buy a Cade Cunningham jersey that has Detroit Pistons on it. Like, when I see stuff like that, and I see that they've come out and said, hey, there's no way we're trading this. We're keeping this pick. When I see him saying, okay, look, I'm only going to one place and one place only. It's the only place I'm visiting, and that is Detroit. I mean, that right there tells me it's a done deal. In the last couple of drafts, NFL and NBA, we've seen that. Joe Burrow had the Bengals playbook like a week after he won the national championship. Trevor Lawrence had the Jaguars playbook for like 3 months before he got drafted by them.
during halftime of the game against Alabama.
Literally. The second that they lost to Ohio State, Urban Meyer was calling, hey, I know that I know you just lost to my former team, but hey, we'd love to have you down in Jacksonville. I mean, the second that he had lost that game, they were on the phone with him. I guarantee, and that's exactly how this is. I don't see it, and I think you don't see it, right? There's no way this happens.
No, there is literally no way it happened. The only way it would happen is if you had some kind of crazy, like, Nets pulled off with the Celtics deal, or the Celtics pulled off with the Nets deal. Like, that's the only way this happens, where, like, your franchise is so bad, I'm going to trade you some overpriced veterans that are on the downside of their career and like 7 first-round picks that are going to probably be in the top 10 because we're stupid, because we sent them unprotected.
Absolutely. So with that being said, we are T-minus 2 minutes from being on Shop Talk. You've saved all those sports-related questions. Be sure to send them in now. We cannot wait to answer every single question you've got that's sports-related. We'll get to every one that we can when we come back from this break.
What is your name?
What?
What is your name?
Fuck!
Where did you get that shirt?
It's funny that you should ask that. Head over to manhourradio.com. You can pick up the shirt up. $15.
Welcome back to Man Hour. We are here for everybody's favorite segment. Of course, you know exactly what it is. I've mentioned it all show. We're ready to dive deep into all the questions you've got. It's Shop Talk time, baby. We are ready to get down and dirty with your questions that you've got. Of course, sports related. We'll get to everyone that we can. First one that comes through here is from Drew, and it says, do you think the Suns will win tomorrow? Torry, I'll let you answer that one first.
No.
Why?
No.
Why?
Because this series is going 2-2. Just there again, like I said, Bucks have only lost one game at home in the playoffs. They've defended home court really, really well. Again, Drew Holiday finally found his shot, kind of got going. Chris Middleton kind of got going. I think they're going to feed off that. Again, playing in that home crowd, they're going to have to feed off of it. And I think they even up the series at 2-2. As much as you don't want to hear it, Drew, it's probably going back to Phoenix at 2-2. Then let the fun begin, because obviously then we're guaranteed at least 6 games. So I will take it. The more the series goes on, the better it gets. It's like I said, I love watching that pendulum swing. Bucks go down 0-2 and they are just buried by the media. And no, they're terrible. They're going to get swept. They win, one game at home. Oh, the Bucks punch into the Suns deficit. Can they go ahead and make this a series? And all of a sudden, you're going to be like, it's going to be 2-2, and they're going to be like, what happened to the Suns? Are the Suns in danger of losing this series? Like, it's the medium pendulum. So it's kind of ridiculous, but I think the Bucks win it. So overall, I really hope my Bucks win it. And the one thing that the Bucks have been pretty good about is stealing that one game that they need to on the road, whether it's been a game 6 or a game 7. And I really don't want to go to Phoenix in a game 7. So I hope they steal game 5 and take a 3-2 lead and then finish it off at home. Whether or not my fairy tale happens, I don't know.
Absolutely. Well, I think that tomorrow is going to be a really good game. And I think the Bucks, I think I agree. I think the Bucks hold on at home. I think this goes back to Phoenix, and Phoenix, I don't know. Game 5 is going to be a toss-up as well. But tomorrow night, I think Giannis and Drew and Chris and Lopez, everybody corrals this together, ties this thing up at 2-2, because the Bucks have just been basically unstoppable except for one game at home. They've played exceptionally well. So I could absolutely see them being able to pull through on that one. Now, what happens after that, we all don't know. We'll get there when we get there. Now, here's the thing, though. If they do win tomorrow night, I got to go ahead and say it. I think it's Suns in 5 at that point. But if they do win tomorrow, gosh, if the Bucks win, it'll be in 6. If the Suns win, it'll be in 7. I think that the winner ends on home court. I don't think that a road team is going to win a game, like a game winner or a series winner, I guess I should say. I don't think that a road team wins the series at somebody else's house.
No,
home teams have been too unstoppable in this playoffs. It's way too hard to do that. I don't see it happening, because the Bucks aren't going to win a game in Phoenix, and I don't think that Phoenix is good enough to win a final game where they're up against the wall 3-2. It would have to be in Milwaukee. I don't think they would be able to do it. I don't see that happening. But Howling Prods here with the awesome LT logo of Lawrence Taylor there says, who wins the finals? And I've got to say, it is tough. It is tough for me, because I think both teams, especially if Milwaukee wins tomorrow, I don't know. I think this is too perfect of an opportunity for Chris Paul. I do. I don't think that there's a way for him to lose right now. He's playing on such an exceptional level, even fighting through injury and everything that he's been dealing with, this entire playoffs. They knocked off LeBron in the playoffs. They turned and beat the incredibly good Denver Nuggets in 4. Knocked off the Nuggets in 4 games. Of course, they didn't have Jamal Murray, but still, even with Jamal, I think they would have ended it in 5. And they've been playing so well. So then after that, they've still, even up to this point, they beat the Clippers, which Clippers in the playoffs, of course, isn't that hard of a win. And Drew says CP3 deserves that ring. I think so too. I think he absolutely deserves it. But Torry, who wins the finals?
Bucks.
Think the Bucks win? Why?
Because they're the Bucks. They've survived and advanced all playoffs. It's what they've done. It's what they've done best. It's like I said, they are going to have to steal that game. And like we talked about yesterday, the Bucks are essentially probably going to have to win 4 in a row to take this game.
I think that's the only way they essentially win the finals is if they take that.
Right.
But we've also got Chuck Thomas chiming in here, says Suns minus. I think he's saying Suns minus Chris Paul. I kind of asked him what that is.
Suns with Chris Paul. I'm thinking that's what he's going.
Oh, okay. Suns with Chris Paul. It's a nice story. It is a nice story. It absolutely is. And then, of course, Drew here chimes in and says, CP3 deserves that ring. Torry, I know you might not agree, but do you think at least, I know that you want the Bucks to win because you're a fan of them, but do you at least think that CP3 deserves that ring?
No, I think that you got muted at the exact same time I did because I knew it was coming. So I hit it right when you did.
That was a good one. It was good. All right. You know what?
Because you said you reached, you did your tell.
I did that right there.
Hold on.
Yeah, I did. I can see it now.
Chuck, we kind of covered this earlier in the show.
We'll say now, no muting each other. We'll answer this question. Right. Hands up.
Everybody throw your hands up. So we actually talked about this earlier. Judging by the first 2 exhibition games, we don't even know if they're going to make the medal round. I mean, they've dropped the 2 exhibition games. They're playing as individuals. They're not playing as a team, and you can't go through this. It's like I said, the biggest adjustment for them is playing by FIBA rules, where things get called the 3-point line. I think the 3-point line's actually further back than the NBA's.
I'm not sure about that. I don't know.
Because I can't remember.
I can't answer that question. I'm not sure.
So, but the thing is, they call the games a lot tighter. They don't get
the referee is much tougher. Yeah. And then Howling Prod comes in with another question here and says, Finals MVP. That will all depend on who wins. If Drew says CP3, and I agree. If the Suns win it, then it's for sure CP3. But
is it though? Because Booker went lights out games 1 and 2.
I know, but it's but CP3 has been the heart and soul of this team. There's no way that they don't give it to C. Whether if Devin Booker deserves it more or not, there's no way they give it to Devin Booker. I think that CP3 absolutely gets it if the Suns win. Now, if the Bucks win, unquestionably, and I do mean legitimately, unquestionably, it's Brook Lopez. No, I'm just kidding. Unquestionably, it's Giannis
Antetokounmpo. DiVincenzo who is hurt.
It's DiVincenzo. Yes, of course. No, I think unquestionably with the Bucks, it would have to be.
If he puts up another 40-point game and they win,
I don't even think he has to put up another 40-point game.
I'm just saying if he does, he starts entering like NBA Finals legend territory.
He's already hit it. There's only one other player who's done what he's done in this playoffs.
I think he's going to do it one more time.
You think so?
One more time.
Hit me, baby, one more time. All right, well, no muting this time. We both tried it. We both muted each other successfully. So you know what, Torry, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Here, before we go real quick, we'll say Chuck Thomas, they win it. Pop strategy as he likes attention. Most likely Argentina versus USA.
I would agree. I mean, Argentina is probably the second best team in this tournament besides the USA. But it's like I said, the USA's got to figure things out. They have to figure out how to play as a team. They need to do it. And that's the one thing, like with Pop, even as the coach, like I'm surprised there's not a little bit more cohesiveness already because he's obviously a big team type guy. And
I think it will by the
he's
end
a player coach. I think it will too, but you better pull your head out of your rear end real quick. You got Tokyo coming up soon. So no, Drew,
Absolutely.
and to answer Drew's question, there is no after hour show this week because we have no Buck, and Buck has all the equipment to do and
Yeah.
set all the stuff
We
up
can
for
put on
after
the show, Drew. We can't do anything other than that. Okay, we can't do the call-ins. All right, we're not tech savvy like that. All right, Drew.
Well, that we don't have the soundboard. We don't have all the other stuff that Buck has to
Right.
set it up. We are just the peons where he is the brains of this operation. So, he's the brains, we're the brawn. And then we're not sure what BC does, but he shows up.
Yeah, he just kind of just lays around and does this thing. Talks sports, talks some nonsense Chicago sports. That's all I ever hear. But hey, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. We appreciate all the likes. Be sure to like and subscribe if you have not already done so. We appreciate it greatly. Like Torry said on the question, no after show tonight for us. And be sure to become a member on the members only tab. So when we do have the after shows next week, when Buck returns, you can tune into those, as well as the fantasy football segment, which is up for this week. And it's a good one, as well as the one coming up in a week. It's me and Torry on the fantasy football segment. And with that being said, Torry, end it here. Send us out.
Man Hour Nation, rise up.